Thank you, Mr. Goree. Next we have up Mr. Michael+caffrey.
Good evening to the distinguished gentlemen of this council. My name is Michael+caffrey, 3726 Copper Street. All of you have already heard the arguments relative to this particular matter presented by members of the community and myself distinctly. What I want to touch on today as I stand before you and looking at this particular issue is the fact that we're talking about two things here. We're talking about commercial designation, and we're talking about the multifamily housing designation for that particular site. The veto was to veto the commercial piece of the particular property, and the concern is at this point it puts us right back at our starting point. The zoning would then be relatively the same that we would have before, which also would in essence put a halt to the particular project that the mayor has been talking about in recent days in the media. We'd like to see progress happen. We want progress to take place in our community, and we feel that the development of this site is going to be an integral part in that particular story. I'm open and willing to sitting down with the administration and the mayor and talking about this as are other community persons to doing so. But also we want to make sure that our voices are heard when we sit at the table. It has been said countless times that the community has not said anything. I think I saw a snippet on the news that the mayor said no one had called him relative to this issue. But he has not stood and addressed the community relative to their concerns on this particular matter. I've heard Ms. McGill's, I've heard Ms. Lawson, but I have not heard the mayor in any of our community meetings relative to this point, or even before this council relative to this point. What are the concerns? How do we go forward from this in this matter is where we are right now. We want to see things happen, but we want to know that there's a willingness to make things happen, and we want to make sure that that willingness is also based on the desire of the people. This government, this administration is a government that should be for the people, by the people, and we want to make sure that happens. When we look at that community, it is surrounded by single-family housing, both with the new Riverbend subdivision, also with the existing houses in that community. The multifamily piece is good. It could be in another location. I think that the main understanding that we need to have is that the community is seeking to have the commercial designation for that piece. The administration has not presented an economic plan for the property to the community. They presented a housing plan, one that's almost complete, pending the council's approval, I assume, but they have not presented a plan that talks about the commercial piece of the property. They want to put the MFO on the back piece, but what about the front half? We've seen nothing in any presentation that's been done relative to that. It's been housing, 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 and the community wants to see something relative to getting a commercial. They've said we can, we're trying, we may, and we understand that there are certain things that you can't make other persons do. You can't make developers come, but we'd like to see something happen relative to that. Thank you.
Ms. Caffrey.